So, you know, when we talk about, like, okay, well, let's talk about different ways, the different mediums within which we express ourselves, that artists express themselves. The novel is one way. So the novel is, to start with the source material, the novel is one way. And as I said before, the novel is a situation where, you know, you have time with it. It's like a work of art in a way, that a work of art that hangs on a wall you can come back to, and you can spend time with, and that you can take your time and you can go at your own pace. Right? What happens with theater when we translate into theater is that theater doesn't give us that luxury. We don't have the luxury unless, you know, we come back to see it over and over again, which I would encourage everyone to do. Unless we have that opportunity, we don't have the luxury of really time. That we are asked within the 90 minutes that we're sitting in that space to really absorb the story. And that's a challenge. And so one of the ways that theater works to do that is theater entertains. Right, and there's something in that level of relationship with an audience, that type of entertainment, that allows an audience really to open up and be available to the story, and be more connected to the story, and be better able to absorb the story. And so one of the ways that we do that often is with sound, music, dance. Those are all the elements of theater which we talk about. You know, sound with music, dance. Acting, sets, spectacle, all of those components, when they work at their finest, contribute to the audience being able to not only follow the story, but be open to the story. So what we've done for this piece is, in the book, the MacTears world is rich in so many, many different ways. You know, and the character of Mama especially is a sort of singular figure for these girls. And one of the characteristics of her is that she's singing all the time. She's singing all the time. She's singing blues songs, she's singing big band standards, she's singing jazz. I mean, she's singing all the time. And there's lots of songs that Toni Morrison alludes to in the book. Deep Purple, St. Louis Blues, Blues Everywhere. Just they're everywhere, the lyrics of it. And they're clearly a significant portion of the texture of the world of the MacTears, as opposed to the Breedlove's world, which is without sound, without music. And if there's any sound to be found in the Breedlove's world, it's the sound of clanging pots and pans, you know, and shouting, like the parents shouting in the other room. And it's become a real element now, and what it's also done is it's expanded beyond just Mama singing, and we've incorporated now ensemble elements. And the ensemble elements actually, if there's something that I really want to talk about, it's the role that the ensemble plays in this telling of this story. At the very end of the book, there is a passage, and I can't quote it. I can't quote it to you right now, but it's at the very end of the book. And it's a passage that that kind of defines why I think Claudia, or the narrator, has been telling the story at all in the first place. And it happens in the aftermath of Piccola going mad. And she describes Piccola as being this sort of old, tired bird with wings just barely able to lift her off the ground, struggling to take flight. And that this was this image of this girl who, for the rest of the town, for the rest of her life, would wander through town sort of picking at the debris of the town, at the fringe of the town, like picking up garbage and collecting items and talking to herself. And Claudia talks about the community's experience of this girl and the way within which this girl, Piccola, her presence, makes everyone else feel better about themselves. That there's something about her ugliness that makes everyone feel better, feel more beautiful. There's something about her madness that makes everyone feel more intelligent. There's something about her smallness that makes everyone else feel larger. And it's this idea that I've been exploring, that we've been exploring in the rehearsal hall, which is about the role that communities play. And not any one community, but circles of community. That when you look at the story of the Bluest Eye, there is responsibility to be found in many different places. The obvious place, of course, is within the family itself, within the Breedlove's family, within the mother who loves the girl that she cares for more than she loves her own daughter, and within the father who has so little understanding of what love means that the only way that he's ultimately able to express it is by raping his daughter. There's clearly responsibility there. But then there's also responsibility within the community, the African American community of Lorain, Ohio, for letting this happen to this girl. You know, there's the scene where, you know, Mama, who's the richest character in the world, is complaining about this girl drinking all of her milk. You know, that she just wants to get her out of the house. She wants her parents to come back and get her because she's drinking all of their milk. And they're struggling with making ends meet just as anybody else is. And then there's the role of the larger community, which is Lorain, Ohio, you know, and this sort of the racism that's inherent in this period of time. This is 1941, Lorain, Ohio. And so, you know, this country is still steeped in it. You know, slavery is really, in a way, just ended. And, you know, what's been happening right now is we're in the midst of the first wave of migrations of the African-American communities from the south to the north in search of jobs. And then we're also in this period of time where we're in the middle, just towards the tail end of the Depression. And so there were lots of layoffs happening in Lorain, Ohio. Lorain, Ohio had a steel plant and a shipbuilding plant. And a lot of the jobs that these people had gone up there to get were probably taken away from them. And Chawley is one of those examples. And then there's the larger, you know, just the sort of the human community. Sort of what is it within this experience of being human that allows us, or that gives us, well, that allows us actually to turn away, that allows us to turn our eyes away from these victims, these people that really have every right to thrive and to be beautiful and to live and to grow and to blossom. What gives us the right to turn away from them and say that they don't matter and say that they're not as important as any of us are? And so there are these circles of community that we're talking about, and what's been really great about having an ensemble of actors is that this ensemble of actors now can represent the community, that they represent all the other people looking in. And so their role in singing simply is ways to sort of increase that, or ways to magnify and enhance this idea of community in this piece. And they show up a lot, all the time.